as most people know, Egypt is very visible in popular culture, right? We have mummy movies, we have Egypt showing up in Katy Perry music videos about 10 years ago. So students do come in with a lot of knowledge, which is great. Because it gives them a way into the material. When I ask students what they know about Egypt when they come into class, it's always pyramids, Tutankhamun, kings. And that's another example of something that is totally understandable because it's super visible in the record, right? The Giza pyramids are visible from space. So obviously that's something that will attract students. But Egyptian kings were not the only ones hanging about in Egypt, right? We have a lot of other really rich characters. So what I try to do in class is kind of break that open a bit and talk a bit about how did other Egyptians interact with kings? Who else was there? What were they doing? Things like that. So right now my main project, which is the book that I'm trying to write, is based on trying to approach Egyptian kingship from a non-royal perspective. So really trying to understand how kings fit into broader ancient Egyptian society. So questions like who actually interacted with kings and when and why, where did they do that? Or did everyone have access to the pyramids? And if not, what does that tell us about who was engaging with royal power? So some of my favorite evidence to look at this from are these two groups of letters that were written by non-royal people to other non-royal people. Some of them were excavated in the town of Lahoun, which is very near a pyramid. So it's something we would call a pyramid town, and it's very clearly associated with the functioning of kingship. And in that town, some residents, in writing to other residents or maybe people outside of Lahoun, they invoke the king and ask them to bless the recipient. Not everyone does that though, and a lot of other people invoke other gods, such as Sobek, who's a crocodile god, or Hathor, who is a goddess of love. And to me, that indicates that people at Lahoun had a choice in engaging with kingship in different ways, and that some, for some reason, had a closer connection to kingship in that place than other people. Now, if we look at a group of letters written by the priest Heckanacht, which actually inspired Agatha Christie's novel Death Comes as the End. If you're interested in murder mysteries, I recommend that one. So Heckanacht is a priest in Thebes, and he's writing to his family who lives in a farm somewhere, we don't know exactly where, probably in the Nile Delta, and he is complaining that they're mismanaging his estate. They're not farming as they should be, etc. And in those letters, he doesn't mention kings at all. So to me, that also suggests that depending on where in Egypt you are, you also have a different relationship with kingship. And that's not something we would get if we only looked at things like royal texts or the pyramids, right? We have to have a balance of the types of evidence we're looking at. I would love to meet the first king of what we call a unified Egypt, so Narmer. He's a really famous figure in Egyptian history, but we really don't understand how that unification process happened, for instance. So I would love to sit him down and say, so, what did you actually do to unify Egypt? And so I would really like to ask a farmer, an Egyptian farmer, what they thought of the pyramids. Did they think it was a symbol of kingship? Did they think they were beautiful? Did they think they were monuments to autocratic power? Like, I think that would be a really interesting conversation to have.
It's all about pyramids and aliens.
You know, that's the question I get most, or I guess get asked the most in Ubers. They ask what I do, and then it's immediately
Aliens?
aliens? Oh my gosh. I'm like, I don't tell them anymore that I'm an archaeologist. It makes no sense.